It was the morning after defeat, while the amber lights of fire danced across the room's stage. A mirage of flame engulfing us while we exercised in twilight's glass reflection. Eagerly we counted down the moments of anticipation, waiting for dawn's first warmth, to once again reclaim the lost frontier from the cold clutches of the undead. We marched out with exalted determination, spearheading our way back into the fight for the unknown. It was there in the Waffle House our battle unfolded.
We got ourselves some new gas mask filters.
When we finally cleared out the Waffle House, we moved north, letting our adrenaline guide us.
Oh, hatchet! Oh my god! Oh! Yes! Finally! That's a hatchet, baby! Let's go! Now I just need a hammer. I'll have all my tools. Firefighter pants. Wind resistant, water resistant. They're a little damaged, but they might be a good backup.
We had finally found one of the most important tools for our survival. The axe would allow us to chop down trees for firewood and branches to make additional spears.
Getting colder. $357. Right, we need to go back inside and warm up. We're starting to freeze. We're getting really slow here.
Inside a small office building was another beautiful water dispenser. Not full, but good and clean water. We rushed it back to the tea shop and would leave it here for us to take home later, where we rested in the back corner and watched as the nephrite snowflakes twirled against the zircon sky. When finally we recovered, we pushed back out to continue clearing our path to the small pawn shop.
Hold up. A pipe bomb. A smoke bomb. A trauma kit. 2 gun cases. G33 uses 5.56 fully auto. They've got no ammo, which explains why they're dead. Some food. We'll definitely take the food. This thing does not have a key. So we got some really sick guns, but I definitely don't have any ammo for them. They might become emergency tools for later. Maybe. Nah, I mean, that's just terrifying. I'm good with that one. Thanks for the gas mask filter though, buddy. These don't even have magazines. Honestly, I shouldn't even have taken them. Or what's the chances I find the magazines for these?
We basked in the light of fire, triumphant in a solid few days of progress, though the harshness of winter weighed heavy on our minds that night.
Alright, we warm up. And then we go.
The nights inside were dropping to as low as negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but even more frightful was the harsh exposure to the eternal storms. So far, the season had brought us down to about negative 80 degrees, and it didn't seem like any amount of insulation was going to help entirely.
Yeah, that is a really big apartment complex on our Jeep, glitching down there. I mean, we'll do what we can, but I think it might be best just to avoid that. Like, I've killed a few. Got a few up there we can deal with. Back and fight them inside. I'm getting cold. Too cold. See, this is what happens when you spend too long outside. Now I'm in a dangerous position. I need to expend energy. The barricades could come in handy. Green military flashlight could be better than what I've got. Utility belt could be good. Yeah, it's only 10 a.m. and I'm already soaked. Okay. We go home, we dry off.
We rushed home swiftly when the storm soaked us through completely. We need to figure out something soon, some way to keep us out in the storm longer.
So a log is worth 6 hours of fuel. A tree branch is worth 1 hour, and a twig, 15 minutes.
We took the liberty to spend a few days chopping down trees and gathering firewood. It felt really good to finally have such easy access to a fuel and weapon supply.
A secondary campfire kit? Or go make a forward operating fire? I think that's worth it. Let's do that. Go ahead and grab a single log for it.
We'd come up with the idea for our forward operating base, but wanted to re-up our water supply first. We attempted to gather water from the river, but needed to travel all the way to the other side of the bridge in order to access the river's banks. The entire time we were being blasted by the harsh frozen winds while we attempted to take our fill on the river's water. By the time we were ready to return, we were completely soaked through again and frozen to the core.
Oh jeez, we need to get up there and warm up fast. Oh no. Is this fire lit? Looks like I'm gonna need another container to boil it. And I caught a cold from getting the water.
We revisited the old ice cream parlor and borrowed a few cooking wares to boil our water. Since we now had to wait out our cold, we took this time to sterilize some rags and boil up as much fresh water as possible. We also utilized some of our haul to make a delicious stew of peas and beans for dinner. We made sure to fill our stomachs to bursting that night to help us get over our cold as soon as possible. A new day welcomed us with a unique song, carried by the frozen winds. Today's plan was to carry our new fireplace and create an outpost we could return to warm up and dry off while on the frontier. We never could have imagined what today had in store for us. He was there among the office ware waiting, with bourbon and cigarettes in wing.
Yeah, I've tried to put myself at the front a little bit here. Just oh,
Come on, Atomic Duck, you're with me.
oh God, oh Jesus!
Mr. Atomic Duck led us straight to a beautiful supply of logs and a wood axe, hidden inside a shipping container in the central parking lot.
Hopefully this doesn't all combust. Alright, we got a forward operating fire. Let's go.
I heard a rumor that Mr. Atomic Duck isn't in fact a duck. Can you confirm? Fake news. Fake news.
With our new manned outpost set up, we forced our way into the next set of unexplored buildings along our path. Another jewelry store.
Beautiful, beautiful hand axe, yes. Oh, what? What a little bastard. Just set up an ambush outside that window for me.
We went home that night injured with a sense of accomplishment. We'd taken over another set of buildings, bringing us one step closer to our destination, but making our path of travel longer. It was getting more and more difficult to traverse to the front lines every day. We basked in the warmth of our fire and considered the many options we had to improve our situation. Ultimately, we would need to move our home base to a closer location if we wanted to make any progress. Driving the car to and from wasn't a good solution because of the amount of debris jamming up the roadway. We also weren't producing any extra body heat when we were driving, which meant traveling long distances would cause us to freeze faster. After a day of rest and collecting firewood, we decided to end it by cleaning up after ourselves. In our extended stay, we had left trash all over the floor. Quiet was the howl of the beast, as the embers of our flames flickered into the shadows of smoke's embrace. The silent song of progress drummed daringly in our ears as the world became illuminated. We marched into the storm ready to find a new place to stay, but needed to clear out the wandering dead on our path first. Among the horde that had wandered in was another cure for the plague. We couldn't be more grateful to have such a valuable safety net at our disposal. With all the fighting along our path, we needed to set up another outpost quickly, so we didn't catch a cold. We grabbed a comfy chair and planted ourselves down inside the jewelry store and set up a second forward operating station. When we had finally warmed up and dried off, we set up for the last building on the block. We found our first box of nails and a tarp inside of a supply closet, but the rest of the building was barren of any goods.
Yeah, this military flashlight is eating through this battery, unlike that toy one. It's a lot brighter, but is it worth the battery consumption of using a battery a day?
Among the few buildings in our control nearest to the pawn shop, only a single one had a real second floor. The small clothing shop's loft area would have to do. Now we would simply have to complete the arduous task of moving all of our belongings to our new chosen home. In the short amount of time it took us to travel from one base to another and unload the car, we had begun to freeze. We were forced to take a break at our outpost to warm up, when we were visited by an unwanted guest. He was at least kind enough to bring us a double holster and an extra gas mask filter for our rebreather. When we finally arrived at the remnants of our old base, we had caught a nasty cold. We used up the last of the firewood stationed there and bided our time for recovery. We smoked a cigarette while we remembered the good times the gymnasium had provided for us, then picked up our campfire kit and never looked back. It was finally time for us to move on.
Oh my gosh. Alright, good news. We've got fire in the new place. Bad news. It's already 8 p.m. We're running low on food. Everything seems to be a mess at the moment.
We didn't notice it yet, but an issue born of haste was growing intensely behind us in the shadows of our vision.
Fuck.
Without a dirt layer between the fire and the wooden tiles of the second floor, we had inadvertently set our new home ablaze before we could even finish recovering from the long, tedious move, and we could do nothing to stop it once it was set in motion. We could only bear witness to the destructive blaze that was about to consume everything. But that would have to wait until next time. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. A like, favorite, or share is also greatly appreciated. If you have a suggestion for a future challenge, please let me know about it down below or by joining the Discord. Thanks and have a wonderful one.